Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. Alright, CFL week number 2. Well, week 1 didn't quite go the way that I expected. Not great. 0-3 on the picks, 0-3 against the spread, and 2-1 on the over-under, so 2-7 for the week. Well, that's kind of fitting. Been a long week. Robert Sports Show has always been filmed in front of a live studio audience. Unfortunately, I lost that studio audience this past Monday. My 15-year-old golden doodle. So, first video without him in the history of doing these videos. First time doing it all without him. All right, so week 1 here. I had Hamilton beating Montreal. Missed that one. Montreal was a favorite. I did take a kind of a leap on that, and I said at the time. Whoops. Calgary lost to Winnipeg. Winnipeg again was the favorite by 1.5. I took the 2 home teams there, kind of figuring. I know that Hamilton game went to overtime, so I almost got that one. But 30-28 there, Winnipeg beating Calgary. So I did have the over on that. The over-under was 47.5, and it went to 58. So, and then in the third game, Edmonton beat Ottawa. Ottawa was the favorite, and so it's like I go against the 2 favorites and lose, and I go with the favorite and still lose. Figure that one out, and the over/under was 51.5 on that one, and it actually went to 50. So I got the under on that one. So yeah, rough start to first week 1 of the CFL. So we'll see what week 2 will bring. I do find it unique here that there are 3 teams that will play their second game before 2 other teams play their first game. So first matchup, which is tonight, we have the 0-1 Hamilton Tiger Cats taking on the 1-0 Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Hamilton losing 30-27, while the Blue Bombers won 30-28. For the Tiger Cats, Bo Mitchell, 34 for 39, 1 interception, 307 yards. Not horrible. No touchdowns. Curtly Gritton Jr., 7 for 50 on receiving. He had 7 targets as well, so that was kind of cool. He got them all. And then running wise, Larry Roundtree, 8 for 23. Got to do better in that running game there for Hamilton. They did have 339 yards total, but that was all on the loss. For the Blue Bombers, Zach Collars, 17 for 21, with an interception, 1 touchdown, 233. Tim White, 5 for 60, leading the receiver corps with 1 touchdown. And then Brady Oliveira, 15 for 113, 1 touchdown, total yards, 359 for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Winnipeg is favored by 2.5. I'm going to go with them winning covering. Based on what both of these teams did in week 1, 57 and 58 overall points, I am going over on that 51.5. I think this is going to be one of those games, kind of like the first 2 games both teams played. Going to have the right around 30 for the winner and probably 25-29 for the loser. So it's going to be a pretty close game. All right, yeah, both of those teams are playing their second game of the year. Now, Toronto Argonauts playing their first game against the 1-0 Montreal Alouettes. Alouettes won 30-27 against the Tiger Cats last week. Davis Alexander, 26 for 38, 2 touchdowns, 336 yards passing. Absolutely pretty good game there for him. Receiving core, 9 for 163 and a touchdown by Tyler Snead. And then their running game, again, wasn't up to par like Winnipeg's is. But Shamari Lawrence, 8 for 63. Total yards, 401 for the Montreal Alouettes. First game of the year for the Toronto Argonauts. Head-to-head overall against Montreal, they're 87, 66, and 2. 2025, the Alouettes actually had the Argonauts number. They were 3-0. This game, we got Montreal favored by 6.5. I got Montreal winning, covering the 6.5 and under on the 51.5. You know what? I'm changing it. I'm going over on the 51.5. I just have this feeling based on what Montreal did. They weren't able to stop Hamilton that much, and so we're going to go over on the 51.5 there. All right, and then the third game of the week, the BC Lions playing their first game of the year versus the Saskatchewan Roughriders, also playing their first game of the year. All-time record, Saskatchewan is 87-81 versus the BC Lions in 2025. Saskatchewan won the series 3-1. Last year, at 11-7 for the BC Lions, they scored an average of 31 points a game, giving up 27.72. While at 12-2, these Rough Riders scored at 26.2 points a game and gave up 22.7, or scored 26.2 and gave up 22.7. Now, if momentum means anything, and you can pull that momentum from last year, the BC Lions won 6 straight in the season, while the Rough Riders lost their last 2. Now, just like with last week, this is the 1.5, but it's the home team versus the road team, and last week I took the home team. So a little part of me wants to kind of flip that this week to see if I can do it. Based on, yeah, Saskatchewan had BC's number last year, 3-1. All right, I'm going with the Rough Riders. Got them winning, covering, and over on the 52.5. So I'm actually going on the over on all 3 of these games. So game 1, Hamilton versus Winnipeg. I got Winnipeg minus 2.5 over in the 51.5. Toronto Argonauts versus Montreal Alouettes. I got Montreal minus 6.5 and over in the 51.5. And then the BC Lions versus the Saskatchewan Rough Riders. I got the Saskatchewan minus 1.5 and over on the 52.5. Well, let's see if week 2 is any better than week 1. As always, thanks for watching Robert Sports Show. Let's have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader, sports channel content.